Hello, my audience. Welcome back to my channel. I have a very special guest with us today. We have none other than Monica. I met her on my very first mission trip, and you might remember her from my Best Memories of 2021 video, where she talked about how we met. So today we're going to go even further than that and talk about her perspectives on the first mission trip and what she got out of it, and just elaborating more on whatever details I ask her about. Now, she's not as savvy on details as I am, so I'm going to try to do more overview types of questions as opposed to like the layout of the place and the color of the trees like I would do. So, if you want to learn more about that, there's plenty of videos on my channel of that. So, before we get started, Monica, first off, if you could tell the audience how you're doing, introduce yourself, and then if there's anything you want to promote, like any links you want to share with the audience, go ahead and do that.
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me today, Paul. I really appreciate it. Paul and I have known each other for, did you say 16 years?
Yeah,
So that was the first Catholic Heart Work Camp that we went to together, and it was in Rockford, Illinois. And Paul and I still to this day hop on the phone every quarter or so, every few months. And he asked me to participate in this, and so I'm really excited to talk a little bit about such an important time in both Paul and I's lives, and such a special occasion that we got to be a part of. I'm doing well. I'm actually pregnant right now with my first child.
congratulations.
Thank you. I know you've been praying for that for my husband and I for a while now, Paul, so I really appreciate that. And I'm having a baby girl. She's due in May. So that's kind of what my life revolves around right now, is just preparing for that. And I am still working. I have my own copywriting, content writing business. So what that means is creative writing, helping brands and businesses go further, push their marketing, push their advertising, see more sales, book more clients through strong writing. So that I help with everything from websites to emails, blogs, articles, press releases, social media, and I do a little bit of design work now as well. So um, those two things kind of take up most of my life. Spending time with my husband. I like to go to boxing. I have a boxing studio in my neighborhood. And so those classes have been really fun. Half of the class is boxing on a bag filled with water. So you're not boxing another person. And then the other half is weights and core. And I've been doing that for a few years now. So I kind of just picked that back up recently. So that's kind of a little bit about me and what I like to do. I think I sent Paul a couple of links with my website. My website is www.copythat.me. And my Instagram is at copythat_creative. And that's where you can find me. And so, yeah, that's just a little bit about me. And I live in North Texas, and we're finally recovering from the freeze, the winter storm that we had this week. So I know Paul lives in the north, so he's used to these sort of things, but Texas is not, and we have not had the road crews. They don't salt the streets here. They don't come into your neighborhood and plow away. They really just do the main streets. So the neighborhoods and the parking lots are the worst right now. But we've had sunny days today and yesterday, and so things are warming up. I think it was like high 50s yesterday. So we're trending back in our normal direction for a Texas winter.
Certainly not high 50s where I'm from.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much for telling me all that. I didn't even know you did boxing until
Hmm.
now, so that's a cool tidbit for me. For those of you that want to follow Monica or have her help you out with whatever you have, the links will be in the video description.
Yes.
So first off, we went to Catholic Heart Work Camp. So, how did you first hear about the camp? And since we're talking about the one where you and I met, what was your inspiration for coming on this particular trip?
Yeah, so I had been, I guess I was maybe a sophomore when I started going to a particular church for confirmation classes, or maybe it was prep work to get confirmed in the Catholic faith. And this was actually not the usual Catholic church that I had gone to for years with my family. This was a church that my really good friend Reba had been going to, and she said that they had a great youth program there. The other church didn't have as great of a youth program, and so I started making the drive, about 30 minutes to go to this other church called St. Ignatius of Loyola, and it was in Spring, Texas, so the Houston area. And really, I would just say that, my best friend since I was in middle school, and my still best friend to this day, Reba, got me to get involved with Catholic Heart Work Camp. She said, "Hey, there's this thing that I'm looking at. It looks really interesting. You basically go to a different city and state every summer. I'm going to this first one. Would you like to go with me?" And I said, "Yeah, that sounds great. I really wanted to get involved in more service-oriented type projects, help people who could really use our help. We were painting houses and repairing things and working in the yard, whether it was for people who were financially limited or maybe they were a little bit older and they couldn't do these things at their own home. And so they had a bunch of churches going to this work camp, and so I also thought it would be really good for my resume, being in high school, and then thinking about applying to colleges in a few years. This is cert I went to three different Catholic Heart Work camps, and that was certainly something that I had listed on my resume, and actually wrote a college essay about one of the trips in the Atlanta, Georgia area that I went to, and I talked a little bit about um, just, the work that we did and how it felt to give back and what came out of that. So those were kind of my motives. And then, just trying to have have the same servant heart that Jesus had. He was always helping the less fortunate. I think there's a verse or a passage in Matthew where he talks about um, where were you when I was hungry and you did not feed me, or I was naked and you did not clothe me, I was sick and you did not help me, or basically talking about if you do it to the one of the least of my brothers, then you do it to me. So I've loved that passage for a really long time, and it reminds us to look at everyone in our lives as Jesus, as if it was Jesus right in front of us. And so how would we treat him if we were being able to meet him face to face? Like, how incredible would that be? So of course, if Jesus came into our house and said, "I'm so thirsty, I need water," we would immediately go get him a drink. Or if it was a winter storm and he showed up on our doorstep, we would clothe him and give him all the coats and the blankets. So we're called to do that for our own fellow brothers and sisters as well. So that's something that really motivated me as well to go on this trip. Um, for Rockford, Illinois, I think it was just wherever they were headed that year, and I had never been that far because we took a bus. Did your church also take a bus?
We took vans because for us it was considerably less of a distance. So
Yeah.
I think it only took us a few hours to get there. So we
Okay.
figured a bus would be a waste of budgeting.
Yeah, yeah. Um, oh gosh, I can't remember how many hours it was for us, maybe 15, 12 to 15. Um, And so the whole team loaded up in that, and I thought it would be cool. I had never been to Illinois, and I knew that their summers were more mild than Texas. So I thought it would be a fun trip to get out of the house, make memories, bond with my fellow youth group. Um, and then also at the end of the trip, depending on your church, you do typically a fun activity. And so it was not all work, but it was also play. You got to be rewarded at the end. I think we went to maybe some sort of a Six Flags amusement park for our particular group, so that was fun. Um, and just getting to get out and do something different and have that experience was important to me. And then also just strengthening my faith. So you're not just there working and serving, you're also did we go to mass every day, every
We
morning?
did. That
Yeah.
we did.
Okay, so really growing in your relationship with the Lord and working through whatever challenges you're going through in life at that time, I feel like I came back a different person. So hopefully that answers your question.
That actually answered quite a few questions in one, because you you did a little bit extra than what I asked, which I appreciate. That's great. So you mentioned that Catholic Heart is all about service. So would you care to tell the audience a little bit about your work team? Like, how did you guys get along? Did you keep in touch with anyone? And what particular work projects did you end up doing?
Yeah, my work team for the Illinois trip, I was assigned an elderly couple's home. And so I remember we painted their fence and we did a lot of yard work. So I don't think we went inside their house too much. Um, it was in a beautiful neighborhood, I remember. They were really kind. They would bring out snacks. I think the woman made us chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the man was a photographer and he had his own book of the work that he did, and he each gave us a copy, a hardcover copy, and I think I still have that somewhere. Yeah, my group got along really well. I can't remember specifically who it comprised of. Um, is there any other question you asked that I didn't answer yet just now?
Yeah, did you guys get along?
Yeah, we got along. There are no issues. I think it takes a lot of communication as to who's doing what, and you have to not be thinking about yourself. You have to be thinking about who you're serving and like what would be good for the greater group. Of course, we got breaks. We got to take a break and have some lunch, and so that was nice. We'd always talk about our experience so far with our group leader during that lunch, and so that was cool. And yeah, I think we kind of just like sectioned it off into subgroups like Monica, you'll be painting, or Joe, whoever, you'll be weeding and pulling weeds. So I think it was a group of maybe no more than six of us. Um, and it was, yeah, it was a really great time.
So you mentioned that your group was sectioned into different roles. Now, Catholic Heart actually went a step further than that, and they gave each person, including the adult chaperones, a different role. The adult chaperones were automatically considered team builders, but
Right.
for the teenagers, they each had roles. Like there was the prayer share leader, there was the break coordinator, um, the person in charge of the tools. So, do you remember what role was given to you at that particular camp?
You're so right. We did have roles. Um, Goodness, I can't remember at that particular camp, but the words that you just said that come to mind for me are prayer share leader and break coordinator. I think I had those two
So
during.
that meant that you were, if you were the prayer share leader, you would have gotten onto the stage after one of the masses and did a prayer intention.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was one position where every night they would ask the teenagers how they saw God, and then that teenager would be on the stage. I don't remember you being on the stage that year, so I'm pretty sure it wasn't you.
Okay.
Were you happy with the role that you were given? Because I remember we discussed amongst ourselves who would be what. So it wasn't like the camp said you're going to do that whether you like it or not. So do you feel
Okay.
like the team was happy with the roles that they decided on?
I think so. From what I can remember, I don't remember there being any animosity or conflict. And I think naturally, since I am just good with words and I've always enjoyed prayer, praying for others, I think that's probably why I would have gravitated toward prayer share leader.
Yeah, that would have been great for like during lunch times you would have led the prayers for
Yeah.
that. Very nice, very nice. Now, Catholic Heart wasn't all just work. We also did stuff like we did mass every morning. We had some free time where we'd be able to do stuff like play soccer and look at the scenery. So, what were some of the things that you did in your free time? Like, because there were a lot of different things we could do. So, what were some of the things that you did to pass the time when you weren't working?
I remember from looking back on Facebook photos in the front of the lawn of whatever school we were staying at.
It was the Bishop Lane Retreat Center.
Okay, it was a retreat center. Okay.
Yep.
We were playing in the front yard, and it was Reba and myself and maybe 10 other of the people from our church, and we built like a pyramid. So we took a picture of us. I think I might have been on the top of the pyramid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so just like a
That's cool.
building a human pyramid was one of the activities. Um, Reba and I were really into just like taking pictures at that time, jumping pictures in the air, funny selfies. So I remember us bringing one of our little like digital cameras at the time were really popular. Um, any more activities? I think the girls just getting together and just talking in a group was pretty common. We would hang out in the cafeteria after dinner. Um, those are the main things that I can remember. I don't remember, maybe we did play a sport. It might not have been soccer in particular, but maybe there was some sort of sport
I think
involved.
I think there was a volleyball net there too.
Okay, well, if that was there, then I was certainly playing because I played volleyball in high school.
That's great. So you mentioned the cafeteria, so that leads to the inevitable question of how we met. Now, I know you mentioned this in my Best Memories of 2021 video, but just in case people haven't seen that, would you like to tell the audience? Oh, by the way, I dressed for the occasion because this is the day that
Oh,
we met. It was on a Taco Tuesday.
oh my gosh. And is that shirt from the camp?
Not that particular one, but it was from one of the camps that I went to.
Okay. I bought a blue one for
I
Taco.
have that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So would you like to tell the audience how we met and especially the part about where the Holy Spirit was talking to? Like I want you to tell the audience about that.
Yeah, really powerful moment. And I didn't know how powerful it was until years later after I had, reconnected with Paul and I heard his experience with this story. So, my friend Reba and we were sitting in the cafeteria. Was it dinner?
Yep, it was dinner. It was at 7 o'clock, if I'm remembering correctly.
Okay, so it was in the evening. Um, she and I were, of course, eating together, and we noticed a boy from another church sitting well, you were sitting by yourself, right?
I
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we remember thinking like, that's sad. He shouldn't be sitting alone at such a place that encourages fellowship and connection and community. And so we said, why don't we go over and see? We won't force it if he doesn't want us to, but why don't we go see if he'd like for us to sit with him? And so I think it was just a calling by the Holy Spirit to not stay in what you're comfortable with. Like it would have been so much easier just to see that and just think, well, I don't want to go meet a new person. I'm nervous, or I'm going to stay here with my friend where it's someone who I know. So I felt like we were just called and pushed to step out of our comfort zone and go and sit with Paul. And so we did. And I don't want to speak on behalf of you, Paul, for what you were going through at that time or your experience, but I remember you just talking about later on how much that meant to you.
Oh, yeah, it was one of the most life-changing moments of my entire life. And I've told this to the audience a lot. I'm going to be brief because this is your time to shine, but I really just did not get along with women all that well. And so to hear two teenage girls that treated me with such respect was, oh, it was something else. Now, going back to the evening activities, what do you remember about like the stuff on the stage? Would you like to tell the audience some of like the skits that were happening and the Carpenter Commandos and like all that stuff? But make sure to not go too much in detail because I also want to talk to you about like the spiritual activities that we did after that.
I'll be honest, I don't remember too much of the entertainment on the stage.
That's fair, because sometimes that can all blend, even for me, like even for me, some of that blends together.
Yeah.
Do you at least remember the Carpenter Commandos?
Remind me what that is. Maybe something will jog my memory.
Like they were dressed up in camouflage outfits and they were like, we are gonna train you guys to be certified Carpenter Commando juniors. And so they would do stuff like take pictures at the work site and they'd like invite people on the stage to do different really weird activities. I don't remember you being picked for any of them, so
No, I
you don't
don't
remember any of that?
know.
Do you at least remember like how you felt? Like did you like the skits? Did you feel like they were too corny or do you feel like they were just right?
I can't remember.
Well, I'm sure you'll remember the spiritually charged activities at least a
Yeah.
little bit better.
Yes.
So every single night we would do something different. And this was like all throughout Catholic Heart. It wasn't just this particular trip. So Monday was staff testimony night where the people that ran the camp were able to talk about like what they got out of service and all that. Tuesday night was Eucharistic adoration and also the dance party. Wednesday night was Four Corners. Thursday night was resident testimony night, where the people that we worked for would give their testimonies about what they got out of us. And then Friday was like the summary DVD where like we'd see the pictures and the videos that the staff was taking. And then after that was our free day. So would you like to tell the audience what you got out of those spiritual activities, especially Four Corners and Adoration? Like, I really want them to know, like, those two in particular, because those I think were the highlight of most people's trip.
Yeah. Remind me what you said Monday night, the first night was?
Monday night was staff testimony night.
Sat. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Adoration and Four Corners. So, Four Corners was essentially we were in like the gym or in a large room, and you could
We
go.
were at the main room of the Bishop Lane Retreat Center, to be exact.
Okay. And what, there were four different people that you could go and pray with or something. Like
So
what?
the So there were four general corners where like the adult that had the expertise in each particular thing would be there. So like there was praying for others, the faith corner, there was healing, I think was another one, and then reconciliation was where all the priests were.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I remember reconciliation, you're right. So for those who are not Catholic, that's confession, where you go and you confess your sins to the priest and he pretty much can absolve you of your sins. So that was great. It's just a relief. It feels like, you have a weight off your shoulders after you go to confession. Um, Four Corners was incredibly powerful. I probably went to the healing and praying for, I probably went to all the corners actually. Healing, praying for others, faith, and confession. I do think I went to all of them, and there were tears not only shed by me, but by a lot of people in that room. That was, I would say, the most powerful night. And we would connect with our specific church small group after, and people would elaborate more, and the emotions would continue. And it really brought you closer to not only who you are as yourself, it brought you closer to God, it brought you closer to your faith and your church group and the people around you. Um, and so I remember definitely praying for whatever was going on in my family or my life at that time. I'm trying to think high school. There had been, just some deaths in my family at that time and or by then in my life and just other tough stuff that my family had had to deal with. And so I remember just finding a lot of solace and comfort in whoever I spoke to during Four Corners. And I loved that at every Catholic Heart I went to. I think that was the thing that changed me the most, um, and brought me closer in my faith.
Yeah, oh, I loved Four Corners. That particular day was probably the greatest moment of my life. But again, this is about you, not me, so we'll save that for my channel. But Because we're on a bit of a time crunch, unfortunately, I'll have to do a speed round here. So, if you could tell the audience the overall message that you got out of Catholic Heart, and especially the overall message that you got of meeting me, because again, my life was so changed by you, and it would be great if like you got something out of that as well, that you weren't just changing my life, that, I was able to be nice to you as well.
Yeah, I would say the overarching theme is you have no idea what someone else is going through, and so be kind, treat them like Jesus would. The golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, and go out of your way to make someone feel special. Pray for them. Paul has been such a testament to the power of prayer in my life over these last several years. I've asked him to pray for many things for myself and my family, and he's done the same. I've prayed for him and his family. And so Paul's actually been praying for my husband and I to have a baby for, a while now. And so now that's come to fruition. So I really see the power of prayer in Paul and I's relationship. And just in knowing you and being able to connect with you over the years on our phone calls, each time I learned something that I didn't know about the faith. Like you are so knowledgeable and educated, and it brings me closer to God each time. And I think like, man, I didn't know that. Or, one time I think we had a discussion about what happens to our loved ones when they go to heaven. Are they still with us? That was something that really stuck with me afterward too. So I just really appreciate our deep, insightful conversations because you don't get that with everybody. So yeah,
And all of that was because you felt called by the Holy Spirit. So I think neither of us could have predicted the ripple effect of how we affected each other. Now, I know that this is about you, but I do have to mention a few things that I remember about you besides that meeting. So I remember having three conversations with you on that trip, maybe more, but this is just my memory. The first was obviously when we met, which was great. I remember telling you guys about the book that I was writing at the time. The second thing was I I saw that you were walking towards dinner and I had told a joke to my work team and I just said, "Monica, I gotta tell you about this joke that I said." And it was that I thought the couch was really comfortable at the place that I worked at. And I said, "I don't believe in love at first sight, but I do believe in love at first sit."
nice.
And you just absolutely cracked up. You thought it was so hilarious that you nudged the person next to you and you said, "I gotta tell you about this joke that Paul told me."
Oh, I don't even remember doing that. That's hilarious.
And then the third was like saying goodbye. And then we got a picture together, which I will not share because I don't like showing pictures of myself when I was younger. But
Hmm.
um, it was great that I had some way of remembering you.
Yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately we only have like 3 minutes left until the video will kick us out. But are there any closing remarks you'd like to share? And if there's anyone watching this who's age eligible to either go to Catholic Heart or be a chaperone, like, is there anything you'd like to say to maybe say like, here's why I think you should try it?
I mean, just just from this experience with you and I, there it forms lifelong friendships and connections where you really don't know what the people you meet at other churches or within your own church group are going through. And if you can be a light to them and pray for them, bring them closer to God, and support them, then you very well could save a life or change a life in a dramatic way. So don't ever think that your efforts are too small or insignificant because they're not. They're super powerful, and the people that you're serving, just from what we heard in the resident testimonies of the families and the couples that we went and helped in various ways, we got to hear how much that changed their lives. So you're doing an amazing thing if you're considering going on this type of trip. And if you're afraid, I would say step out of your comfort zone and just do it because it'll be so worth it.
Oh, I was terrified before I
Mhm.
went to Catholic Heart. I almost canceled the day before, but
Yeah.
I pushed myself through it and look where we are now.
It can be scary as a kid, leaving home and going to a different state and staying away somewhere for a week.
Oh yeah, yeah, but it was all worth it. So
Mhm.
with 1 minute left, audience, we're unfortunately gonna have to call it here, but thank you, Monica, for sharing um, your overviews. Again, you guys can check out my channel if you want to hear more about the concrete details. And I wish you the best of luck with the pregnancy and the delivery. I hope it goes well, and I hope you love being a mom. Again, check the description if you guys want to follow Monica's business. And thank you again for returning after 5 years.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Paul. This was awesome. I hope you get a lot of views and likes and great engagement in your comment section.
I certainly hope so too, because my views have been plummeting lately.
Oh no.
But they say whenever you put a girl on the profile picture, that helps. So hopefully your picture will get
Yeah,
people interested.
I
All right,
can't
audience. Sorry.
I can't wait to see it.
Perfect. Well, audience, I hope you enjoyed yourself. And until the next time, remember to keep the faith, stay epic, and God bless. Bye.